Yo everyone, welcome back. Today I'll be going over Vengeance Demon Hunter in Dragonflight after the first couple of rounds of M+ testing. Vengeance feels pretty sick to play right now. All the new frailty talents feel pretty insane. You have a ton of new fury and soul generation, along with higher demon spike uptime and passive damage reduction. Your cooldowns actually feel like cooldowns now, and it feels like the days of dying through meta are finally behind us. Here are the two talent builds I was playing around with for the most part. As of right now, Vengeance has a pretty good tree. There are a few points of wiggle room that provide trade-offs as to what you want. And as for the right side of the tree, I don't think it's particularly appealing due to the power level of everything else, but we will see what shapes up to be best. The first build was more damage orientated, playing with less utility in the class tree and losing things like Chaos Nova, Darkness and Consume Magic, as well as less defensive options in the spec tree. The second build is what I was running for higher keys, opting for more utility in the class tree as well as some more defensive traits in the form of Painbringer and Soulmonger. I tried out a few variations of this build, both with and without those talents, and I'm not entirely certain whether that's the play, so for now, I'd recommend this third tree being a mix of the two. When it comes to keys, DH was a ton of fun. While it hasn't changed a lot rotationally, and the spec hasn't received half as many new buttons as things like Protection Warrior or Brewmaster, it still feels fantastic to play. It feels like the weaknesses that Demon Hunter had throughout Shadowlands are gone for the most part, and you've been given a few new toys to play with. Frailty has received some nice quality of life changes going into Dragonflight. With a ton of talents affecting how it behaves, it gives Demon Hunters a really strong buff to play around. In keys, Spirit Bomb is as good as ever, making really good use of Soul Furnace, Soul Crush and Vulnerability, as well as providing a ton more demon spike uptime through Feed the Demon. However, with the addition of Void Reaver, you'll be wanting to dump excess fury when you don't have souls on Soul Cleave to maximise frailty stacks. Since Soul Cleave is capped to 5 targets still, I mostly ignored this and continued to generate souls and Spirit Bomb on larger pools despite the potential loss of frailty value and overcapping fury. Frailty in combination with talents such as Calcified Spikes means our survivability outside of cooldowns is pretty good now, and with Infernal Armor being essentially baseline, your Immolation Aura has a good defensive component too, as well as increased uptime from Agonizing Flames. Demon Spike uptime is at its highest it's ever been, with Extended Spikes and Feed the Demon being almost baseline. There is one talent point on the right hand side of the tree that I didn't get to play around with, which I think could have potential, being Retaliation, but I doubt you can really spare the points. Fury and Soul Generation has skyrocketed due to some Sigil Flame changes and talents that affects it now, as well as other talents like Chaos Fragments, Fracture, which now interacts with your tier set, Fallout, Volatile Flame Blood, Darkglare Bloom, and to top it all off, Soul Carver. You can even opt into Kyrian Sigil over Fodder, but mathematically Fodder is outperforming Sigil right now. We've also acquired some niche abilities that used to be specific to Havoc, being most notably Vengeful Retreat and Darkness. The Hunt is making a return as well, which was a personal favourite of mine when it came to DH Covenant abilities in Shadowlands. You also have the option of Fellblade, which I would only recommend if you don't take Volatile Flame Blood in the spec tree, as Fury generation might feel a bit low in comparison. A notable mention as well is the interaction between Burning Blood and Charred Warblades. The combination of these two talents and the fact your Spirit Bomb is fire damage synergizes extremely well. In regards to the tier set, the 2-piece feels extremely nice, having our Fracture generate even more fury and a chance at an extra soul. I would have liked the 4-piece to have more consistency to it, but it's not bad by any means, and the damage buff and damage reduction are pretty nice, with the DR having decent uptime. As of right now, Demon Hunter feels extremely strong. It has some of the highest damage output of all of the tanks right now on AoE, as well as it easily being one of the best, if not the best tank spec on single target, and that's all without utilising talents like Fiery Demise. As for its tankiness, it feels very powerful as well. Having a cheat def in high keys is extremely valuable, and Demon Hunter has never had so much passive DR and you can really feel it, on top of all of the self-healing. Personally, this has been my favourite tank to play so far. It feels amazing to play, despite it not having a crazy amount changed. The few changes it has received feel very refreshing and were well needed, but that being said, I do hope they address the right hand side of the tree, as Sigil of Change being essentially unobtainable doesn't really feel great, as well as it requiring too many points to make a fiery brand build of any kind. You're kind of forced into one playstyle, and although it's the most fun in my opinion, the option to change would be nice. One noticeable difference in Dragonflight is our soul consumption radius has been changed, meaning you're less likely to randomly consume souls by walking over them mid-pool, as well as an 100-yard radius in which you consume leftover souls with your abilities. This basically allows you to generate souls at the end of a pool, for instant use in the beginning of a new pool, slightly aiding in the snap threat issues demon hunters usually have due to a multiple global setup. There's potentially room for a fiery brand build, or at least utilising fiery demise and burning alive more, but in theory I don't think it would be too great without charred flesh extending your brand uptime. To wrap things up, I'll just reiterate how good Vengeance Demon Hunter feels right now. It might not be as powerful as Protection Warrior, but it's an easy second in my mind with current tuning. It's a very simple tank to play that brings very good dungeon specific utility in the form of Silent Sigil and Chaos Nova. Sigil of Misery can be taken for niche cases, and our 5% magic buff gains value if caster DPS are good too. Thank you all for watching. I'll be working on putting out videos on the rest of the tanks as soon as possible, but until then I stream a lot over on my Twitch, which is where I get most of, if not all of the footage for these videos. I have so many ideas for new content after that you'll just have to stick around for, and with that said, much love, until next time.